Welcome to Plumbing course. In this course, we will come to know about plumbing design and estimation. Before knowing plumbing design and estimation, first we need to know what are all the building services are there. And they are HVAC services, electrical services, firefighting services, plumbing services, elevators or escalators, solar system, gas system, security system, BMS system, etc. In HVAC services, we will deal with our air conditioners, VRVs, uh, chillers, etc. And in electrical services, we know that, we will deal about transformers, LT panels, ST panels, motors, and everything will comes under electrical services. And next is firefighting service. The name itself, it is saying firefighting. Firefighting, in a sense, it is fighting the fire. So for we are having a sprinkler system, hydrant system, yard hydrants. So these type of things we will learn in firefighting service. And the next one is plumbing service, about which we are going to learn in this course. And the next is elevators or escalators, solar system, gas system. Gas we are having like LPG gas system, and in hospitals you will see medical gas systems. Next is security system. In security system, we will see about it deals about access control, boom barriers. These things and all will comes under security system. And the next is BMS system, building management system. The all it will control all the above services like HVAC services, electrical services, firefighting. These all things it BMS system will control. And now plumbing. Before going into subject, we will see what is the scope of plumbing nowadays. There is no separate specialization for plumbing, like mechanical engineers, electrical engineering, electronics, so like that. There is no special branch for plumbing. Maybe in some universities we may find a special branch like plumbing. So, but in every construction we need a plumbing engineer. Every construction, every small, even a small building also we need a plumbing engineer. So scope is very high, but the people are very less. So in these buildings and all, what people will do, they will select some people like civil people or electrical or mechanical people. They'll select and they'll say, okay, you look after plumbing. But that is like very rarely we will see. But definitely the scope is very high for the plumbing engineers. So learning this course will 100% it will be very beneficial. And who has to learn this course? Maybe who has completed engineering, mechanical or electrical or civil, they can learn this course, and because of this they may get job. And some people who wants to build their own house, they also can learn this course, because at the end of this course, once you complete this course, you can say, or you can definitely you can design your own building in plumbing services, and you can estimate what is the cost will come for your plumbing services. You can design at this end of this course. Now if we see the applications where we are applying this plumbing and all, we are not going to apply this course in the some unimaginary world and all. We are going to apply this in the daily life. Like without plumbing you cannot start or finish your day. For example, for bathing, washing clothes, utensils, EWC, swimming pools, there's so many things. These all things will comes under plumbing. So you may think like it is very easy. Yeah, it is very easy for small buildings and all, it is very easy, but for complex buildings like IT, hospitals, malls, like very high-rise buildings and all, it is very complex. To make this complex design very easy for you, this course will help you. And at the definitely at the end of this course, you can learn and you can design your own building. Not only your own building, you can design complex buildings like IT buildings, hospitals, malls, etc. So if you can design, you may get the job. You will get the job definitely. Not only design, you will come to know the plumbing quantity surveyor or estimator responsibilities, and also at the end of this course, you somewhat execution also you can learn. For designing this plumbing system, one should follow the standard societies. We are having IPC International Plumbing Code, which is internationally people are using. Next is uniform UPC Uniform Plumbing Code. Next is BS British Standards. Next is DEWA Dubai Electricity and Water Authority. Next is RC Royal Commission. Next is NBC National Building Code India. IPA Indian Plumbing Association. In India, mostly we'll use NBC and IPC will use, and sometimes Uniform Plumbing Codes also we will refer. In this course, this is the content we are going to have. The first one is process of plumbing system. In process of plumbing system, we will see what is the source of water, from where we are supplying water, and to where we are supplying, and through which medium we are supplying, what is the quantity. These and all process will comes under this topic. And the next one is material list and types. We are having different types of pipes, walls, fixtures. Those and all will comes under this topic. The next one is explanation for each and every material technically. This is nothing but technical specification of material. We will see all the material technical specification in this topic. The next one is water demand calculation for residential, commercial, and hospital, and tank size calculation. It is a UG sum or OHT tank. We will see in this topic. The next one is pump capacity and pumping main size. Pump capacity, to supply water from UG sump, we are having transfer pumps or hydropneumatic pump. Those pumps capacity we will see in this course. And next is toilet fitment calculation for residential, commercial, and hospital projects. Toilet fitments in the sense for for one project, for example, this IT project. For how many people, how many EWCs, wash basins will comes under, we will see in this topic. Next is type of distribution, terrace and basement water supply ring main calculation we will see in this topic. Next is shaft water supply piping size calculation we will see. Next is internal water supply pipe calculation we will see. Internal drainage pipe sizing calculation we will see. Next is shaft drainage pipe sizing, basement drainage system, terrace rainwater system design, rainwater tank and stormwater tank sizing we will see. Next is recharge pit design we will see. Hot water demand and sizing we will calculate. Hydropneumatic pump design we will see. Not only hydropneumatic pump, that one a tank will be there on hydropneumatic pump. The tank design also we will see in this. Next is STP, WTP, RO and OWC capacity we will calculate in this topic. Next is garden water system design. In garden water system design, we can see sprinklers. That sprinkler design we can see in this garden water system. Next is making BOQ. Next is rate analysis for those BOQ materials. Next is cost estimation. We can see what is the cost for a project before starting or after. Once it is completed also we can calculate what was the cost of the project. Next I will show some of the plumbing drawings. Next we will conclude all the above. In our content, the first topic is plumbing process. In plumbing process, first we need to know what is plumbing. Plumbing is the system of piping, fixtures and equipment installed in a building for the purpose of, here we are having two purposes. One, to supply water in a desired quantities to desired locations, and whatever quantity we are supplying, in that 90% of water will go waste. So to remove that waste and waste borne material, we need plumbing. And so as per the definition, we need to supply water from desired sources. The source may be a borewell or municipal water or water tankers. Here in this drawing we can see city water mains. We are getting water from city water mains, and here we are having a wall. It may be a ball wall, butterfly wall, depends on the size we will use. Generally, till 50 mm dia we will use ball walls. More if it is more than 50 mm dia we will use butterfly walls. And from here we are having a water meter, and water meter to to know in what quantities we are using the water, and from here it is going to the underground tank. And here in underground tank we will be having a pump, and we are supplying water from underground tank to OHT. Here we are having two tanks that terrace. One is a domestic supply tank, and one more also domestic supply tank. But now this only one domestic tank generally we will be having, and second one will be the flushing domestic flushing tank. So this flushing tank will supply water to all WCs, and this domestic tank will supply water to bathing or for kitchen purposes. Water will be used. And next topic we will see water demand. How to calculate the water demand for a particular building we will see. So to calculate the water demand, we should know how many people are staying in that building. In NBC, it is clearly given how many people are for residential and other than residential buildings it is shown. And we will see here water supply requirement for buildings. The total quantity of water per day is estimated based on the proposed occupancy and activities scattered. Designer has to identify all the possible sources for augmenting the shortfall in water supply. The analysis of available water is done to decide the treatment for consumption, and treatment process depends on the quality of water and the purpose of which it is used. Projection of population for each building shall be made on the basis of its usage. Population for each type of building shall be estimated on the basis of information obtained from the users. Alternatively, population may be worked on the following basis for different type of buildings. Now, for residential buildings, for example, one bedroom dwelling unit, the population we need to consider is four members, and two bedroom dwelling unit 5 members, three bedroom dwelling unit 6, and four bedroom dwelling unit 7. So, in order to calculate the water demand, we need to see how many people are staying in that building, and per person how much water is required. We need to see that, we see in next slides. And now this is for residential buildings. Other than residential buildings, if it is for example it is an office building, we need to consider one person per 10 meter square of floor area. One person per 10 meter square of floor area. For example, we are having 100 meter square of floor area, so one person per 10 meter square. So hence, for 100 square meters, we need to take 10 persons. And next is schools. In schools, we need to consider population as strength of the school plus teaching and non-teaching staff. For example, strength of the school is 100 people. So 100 plus teaching. For example, we are having teachers, four teachers we are having, and non-teaching staff. Like we are having two members. So 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 100, 106 strength we need to consider in order to calculate the water demand for schools. In same way, in hostels, we have to consider number of beds plus 4.5 times of warden's residence plus staff. So same in hostels, how many beds are there we need to consider, and in warden's residence how many people are there, into 4.5 we have to do, plus staff how many people are there that we need to consider. The next is for hotels, same as hostels, we have to consider number of beds plus staff plus requirement of staff, requirement of restaurant seats. For example, restaurant seats we are having 30 seats, so number of beds for example 20 we are having, staff we are having 10, and requirement restaurant seats we are having 30. So 20, 10, 30, it will be 60 members we need to consider. And same in hospitals, number of beds plus staff plus patient attendance. Generally, population density per bed in secondary care hospital is 5, tertiary care is 7, and quaternary care is 9. So we same like number of beds we have to see, staff, patient attendance that we need to consider, and we need to calculate the water demand. Next is mercantile. So one person for 3 meters square. So in malls and all, for example, we are having 300 meters square of floor area, so one person for 3 meters square, for 300 3 meters square, for 300 meters square, 100 persons we need to consider. And sales basement areas plus one person for 6 meters square of 6 meters square of upper sale floors. The population may be segregated into 10% for fixed and 90% for floating or visitor. For visitors, how we need to calculate the water demand? In notes we can see traffic terminal stations, average number of users per day, total annual passenger traffic per 365 days, plus staff plus vendors. Traffic terminal stations we need to calculate in like this. So mostly we'll use these offices. Mostly we will see offices, schools, hostels, hotels, hospitals. So these type of buildings only mostly we will be getting to design. In notes, if we see wherever there are multiple work shifts, the number of users within 24 hours period may be considered as per actuals. So now we how we are considering. For example, for bedroom, one bedroom we are saying four persons. Sorry, not for residential. This notes is for office buildings and hotels, hospitals under other than residential. So for offices, one person for 10 meters square we have considered here. If it is a day and night work will be there. So we need to consider two persons for 10 meters square. We need to consider. So next is population of 5 to 15% depending on the usage of building shall be considered for visitors and floating population likely to use the building facilities. So 5 to 15% for visitors and floating population we need to consider. Here in in mercantile we have seen for total population may be segregated into 10% for fixed and 90% for floating. So this 90% of floating or visitors we need to consider only 15% of water usage, 5 to 15% of water usage. Next, water supply for residences. Now we have seen how many people we need to consider. Now we have to see what is per person, what is the quantity of water we need to consider. We need a minimum of 70 to 100 liters per head per day may be considered adequate for domestic needs of urban communities. Apart from non-domestic needs, it has flushing requirements, which varies based on type of building occupancy. As a general rule of the following rates per capita per day may be considered for domestic and non-domestic needs. For communities with population up to 20,000, water supply to stand post 40 liter per head per day we need to consider. Water supply through a house service connection 70 to 100 liters per hour per head per day. For communities with population 20,000 to 1 lakh together with full flushing system 100 to 135 liters per head per day. But nowadays we are not considering like this 70 to 100, 100 to 35, 135 and water supply through stand post. These things and all we are not, mostly we will not consider. This 40 liters per head it is for through a stand post means we'll be having some nearly 110 houses or 5 houses nearly like that and we will be having a stand, we will be having a post in between. So from the post the people water post, so from that water post people will be taking the water. It is like in that cases we need to consider 40 liters per head we need to consider. And for communities with population above 1 lakh together with full flushing system we need to consider 150 to 200 liter per head. But generally this 150 to 200 per liter per head and all we are not considering. So as to save the water, here in note we can see the value of water supply given as 150 to 200 liters per head per day may be reduced to 135 liter per head per day for houses for medium income group and lower income groups and economically weaker section of societies depending upon the prevailing conditions and availability of water. So we are not going to consider 150, 200, 220 and all for residential purposes. We are considering 135, 135 for all type of buildings. Mostly because to save the water, we are doing this 135 liters per head. So water supply for other than residential residences, if we say minimum requirement of water supply for buildings other than residences shall be in accordance with table 1. In table 1, we can see factories including canteen where bathrooms are required to be provided. So for factories including canteen where bathrooms are required to be provided, we need to consider 30 liters per head domestic per day, flushing per day 15 per head. So total of 45 liters per head for factories we need to consider. And the next is factories including canteen where no bathrooms are required to be provided. We need to consider 20 liters per head. 10 liters per head for flushing purpose, and total consumption per day in liters is that 30 liters per head. And the next is hospital, excluding laundry and kitchen. We are saying number of beds not exceeding 100. We need to consider domestic, for domestic purpose 230 liters per head, and for flushing 110 liters per head, and so the total consumption is 340 liters per head. And if number of beds exceeding 100, 300 per head for domestic purpose, 150 per head for flushing purpose, 450 per head for will be total consumption. So likewise, it is shown for nurses homes, hostels, hotels up to 3 star. What is the domestic water per head we need to consider, flushing how much we need to consider, that and all is given for different types of building: clubhouses, stadiums, cinema, concert halls, traffic terminal stations, shopping and retail like malls. So every for every building, almost every building, it is shown in NBC. So as per so now to calculate the water demand, this data is required. What is required is per building, what is the population required, and per head what is the water quantity required we need to consider.